Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. Wanted to get the show started with a bang there, speaking into a microphone that was muted. My friends, wow, here we are. Technical challenges and all. Just goes to show the show is really, truly live. Yes, we are, as usual, recording here at 10:04 on May 9th. My friends, welcome in. If this is your first Wake Up Legendary, put your seatbelt on. It's going to be an amazing ride. As a reminder, hello? Okay, looks like I got a little text message. Let's see here. Okay. Yes, my friends, as always, we send out a text message alert and reminder. And I just got that here. If you're on that list, go ahead and look for that. If not, you can text WUL to 813-296-8553. Now, moving on. What is the show for? Well, it's to showcase brand new people who have enrolled in our 5-day Learn, Launch, Lead Challenge. You can find that at learnlaunchleadchallenge.com. And who have gone through our education, many of whom who have also enrolled in our flagship Business Blueprints program, which teaches the core 4 ways to sell information online. We teach people how to create and sell digital products, courses, how to create coaching programs, consulting programs, and events, as well as do affiliate marketing. Those are the core 4 ways to sell information online. And then we bring those clients onto this Wake Up Legendary show if they so wish and accept the invitation to talk about their experience. And this morning is no different. We have a Pilates instructor who's going to share her strategies to building an audience through launching, becoming the leader in her space, and also working on generating leads and building her email list. So with that being said, Dana, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Where are you calling in from?
I am in Chico, California, which is Northern California, about 90 miles north of Sacramento.
Beautiful country.
Beautiful country.
I was in Napa not too long ago.
Okay.
Are you close by Napa? A little north?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're really north.
Yeah. So also done some Pilates. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that for most of you who think that's a wussy way to work out, I'm going to tell you right now, it is not. Your core will be burning, your legs will be burning, and you will be pleasantly surprised at the soreness that you feel the next day. How long have you been teaching Pilates?
About 13 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you got into it because you loved it and then wanted to teach it?
Yeah, I got into it because at the time I was an owner of a furniture store. Me and my girlfriend, we were partners in a furniture store here in Chico, and moving furniture and unloading furniture and all the things kind of messed up my back a little bit. So I met with a woman who was opening a studio, and she needed some graphic design work. And I am graphic design trained. That was my degree in college. And so for trade, I did some design work for her, and I did some private sessions with her, and I was sold because my back pain went away. And I said, I can't ever not do this. So I practiced it for about 5 years before I had some life changes and decided to become an instructor, and thought at first, like, this is not what I want to do, but it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I've been teaching now and working with private clients for that long, 13 years.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
How's the back doing?
The back's great. Yeah.
Better than ever?
Oh yeah, it's strong. I'm strong, and I if I get injured, I get through the injury pretty well. And it happens, it does happen sometimes when you overwork, because I teach a lot.
Yeah.
My husband does it 3 days a week with me, so he's seeing the benefits. So, and having a male in there, we have lots of men in our studio, so
yeah,
it's good. It's good for everybody. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, no, me too. It was fun. I will likely do it again in the future. And so what, with all that going on, Pilates, I mean, what led you? Help us to understand what was the driving force or the motivation or the curiosity to start an online business.
Well, It all happened, obviously, like a lot of people, it happened during COVID. Being an instructor, you couldn't be around people. They kind of shut everybody down. And I had a lot of private clients, and I couldn't see them unless I snuck to their house and they were, they were willing to let me be there. So I went online and I started teaching Pilates online from my living room. So I learned how to use Zoom, and I set my camera up or my phone up in my living room and taught classes to those who wanted to take classes from me. Me and my dog on the floor on a mat. And so, I've always been pretty technically savvy, I would say. I come from an engineering background. My family's all a bunch of engineers, so have to have that kind of brain. And so I started doing that, and I thought, okay, that's fun, but I still have to use my body a lot. And so I took a course online about how to create a freebie, which would be, your lead magnet, I guess you'd say. The training was okay. It wasn't great. And I came out of it with a cool product, but I didn't know what to do with it. So, and they didn't teach you that. That meant let's buy another course and learn what to do with that. So I kind of put that aside, and I decided to create a workshop, an online workshop. So I was like, I'm going to keep myself online. I'm going to keep doing this and, create these, bless you.
Thank you.
So I did a workshop, and I had to learn how to promote that and how am I going to get people in there to this workshop. And I loved doing that. That was really fun. I loved the creation of it. I loved the research of it. So I started, that kind of led me into, okay, now what do I do with this? Am I going to do another workshop or, so somehow I think I just started, I started following somebody on Instagram that was talking about, how to make money online. And I kept watching her videos and going, okay, I need to research this a little more. So I went into it, learned that, got her ebook and started learning, and decided to jump into the 15-day challenge. And that was enlightening. I was like, wow, this is a lot of stuff that I already learned, but I didn't learn it right.
Mm.
And so it was sort of like I had put the cart before the horse. Like I had the lead magnet, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I had to learn what to do with it. So the 15-day challenge really taught me, obviously, how to build a funnel, how to create, the stream so that I could start pulling in the leads and create the list. Well, what I was finding was, I'm still finding this, the being on Instagram and creating content is still really difficult for me.
Mm.
So, and I think I was telling Joanne before we started here, I'm really good if I'm in front of people and I can talk to you and feel your energy, and I can create, really, really well when I'm in front of somebody. Obviously, I'm a teacher, so I teach every day. I'm in front of people every day. But when I don't know my audience, that's my struggle.
Yeah.
So I started, creating things. I'm a health and wellness coach as well. So I like to create recipes, and I like to share things that are health and wellness oriented. That's my niche.
Mm-hmm.
So I started just creating recipes and putting them out there with a video showing me making the recipe. And that just kind of caught fire. People were like, I want your recipe. How can I get it? So that was really I guess that's the second stage of how I started building my email list. I got a lot of leads by putting things on Pinterest. That really brought in people that were interested in health and wellness, but not only that, building a business online. So that's sort of how I got there. Just sort of, I went back before I went forward, and that's sort of how I do things. I kind of jump in and then I figure it out.
Yeah, great. And you've been a business owner before, so you know what that's like, right?
Yeah.
Courtney says, I need to feel energy from people too. Dana, you're helping me so much.
Yeah.
So there's some great relation here, some great identification, but I want to go back to the comment that I made a moment ago, which is that, you know what that's like from being a business owner before.
Mm-hmm.
You sometimes have to shoot first and ask questions later.
Yeah.
You have to get started and then learn as you go. Some like to say learn as you earn. Well, that may be a little bit unrealistic. Maybe you need to learn then
Yeah.
you earn, then you learn a little bit more, and then you earn some more, and then you get to a point to where you're earning and learning at the same time. um, if you never start, or you feel like it needs to be perfect, or you need to figure everything out before you start, the earning obviously never comes. So going back to that struggle, Courtney, I'm sure others are feeling this as well. It's like, how do I speak into a camera? How do I project energy? How do I talk to somebody when this is such a foreign thing for me?
Yeah.
What have you done to help you feel more? I heard the Pinterest. That's interesting. What else have you done to get yourself? I mean, did you find that doing videos where you weren't talking into them, more recording things that you were doing? And like, just talk to us a little bit about some of the aha moments and how you evolved but kept going.
Well, I had to just get myself on camera and just talk to it and just like sort of talk to myself and just sort of feel it out and feel what I look like, I sound like, what's the energy level like. So I would record myself a lot. And I did that a lot before I even started this, because I had to, figure out how to teach Pilates online and how I could get the camera right and how I could sound and if I was making sense. And so I had
Mhm.
to learn how to talk into the camera and not forget that I'm actually not talking to myself, I'm talking to other people. Um, so just a lot of practice in front of a camera. But then the other part of it was like, I don't always want to be on camera. I don't always want to show my face. Maybe I'm not, in the right place or the right time. So I really started just doing like the B-roll thing and creating B-roll videos and putting text over the top of it.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I saw that people really, really liked that. They
Mm.
kept, I got some engagement with that, and putting out maybe just it's a message that's just, giving you some advice for the day, like how can you go through your day and um, heal your nervous system or something like that. Because I'm always in the wellness realm, so I'm always just trying to, give people something that will, they can use throughout the day. So
Sure.
if I was giving some advice, I always felt like I was me because that's what I'm always doing.
Hmm.
People are coming to me and after class, and what do I do about this? And how do I do about that? And my knee hurts and my shoulder hurts. And what do I do at home? So
Yeah.
if I put myself in that place, I can talk into the camera and I'm pretty well versed. If I'm trying to talk about something I don't know about, it just doesn't work. You
Yeah.
know, I can't
Sure.
pretend.
Sure. And I I love that you're using your experience. I also love that you're using copywriting skills. These are something that we focus a lot on in our education. It's something that we try to introduce early on, the concept of writing persuasively. How do I sometimes I have to forget the rules that I learned in English class. That you don't have room on a short video in a little bit of caption space to write an intro, a body, and a conclusion. Right? You have
Not
to.
to mention all of the grammar, like the periods and the
Totally.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, now we're using emojis, or we're using abbreviated words. You have to. One of the best pieces of advice that I ever got when it come to copywriting was write like I text. Now, I don't know about you all, but I text differently than I write,
Yeah.
right? It's very abbreviated, it's very casual, super casual, right? There's LOLs there. There might be an LMAO, right? There might be there's lots of emojis. There's GIFs, right? The little images that are funny, the meme GIFs that I can choose from on my Apple, the little library there. I always like to use the Goodfellas one where they're in the club and he's like, "What am I, a joke to you?" And then the guy's like, I don't know if you guys know that scene or not. Ray Liotta, Ray Liotta. Um, so I I need to make it interesting to read. And what I remember about English class was some of those essays and some of those properly written novel or books or education textbooks and things. Those were hard reads. But comic books, things of that nature that included abbreviations, casual writing, what sort of things have you use that have worked or focused on in terms of your copywriting that you found that were either aha moments or that you've had to adjust to and move away some of that proper grammar? What comes up for you around that topic of the text, the copywriting, in that being, again, so many people are using it. The other thing is, I think people are using it because they can't play a video with sound all the time. So when you give them something to read, they can consume it more. What comes up for you around the copywriting piece?
I think more, I guess, mainly what I do is if I'm going to send an email out to my group, to my subscribers, and it's about something that, that maybe they're trying to work on. So maybe it's an email about like gut health, and maybe I have a product, an affiliate product that I'm going to put into that email. Maybe I'll just say, I'll ask them a question, then I'll say, I get you, like I understand. I'm dealing with that myself. So I try to put myself in there. So I'm actually talking to myself and to them, like I'm part of their problem or their solution. Because like I said, when I talk to clients, I listen to their questions and I try to put myself like, well, this is what I would do. Because I'm not a doctor. I'm not and sometimes people think I am because I've always got the wellness advice, but I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, but I can also say I've been there and I understand. And I think that speaks well to people, not only in front of people, like face to face, or through an email, as to, make them understand that I get it.
Yeah.
So it's more like,
Great.
I get you, and
Totally.
I'm here to, this is what I would do.
You're speaking empathy, you're speaking compassion, you're speaking connection right now. And that resonates with me because my business blew up when I stopped pointing the finger or trying to act like a guru. And I started just being a regular person who either had or still have the same problems, and I'm offering a solution. People are willing to take solutions from people that they know have been in their shoes. They're not willing to take solutions from people who they feel are pointing or shaking or judging their finger at them and telling them what to do, or even talking to them as if they're less than. And what I did was I began to tell my story of addiction and homelessness and high school dropout. And I said, these are my struggles. These are some of the things that I've overcame in the past. I talk about my recovery still to this day. I talk about that story still to this day. And that would be an example of how I disclose vulnerable parts of myself so I can be relatable to people, and try to never make a point without telling a story or doing some form of a relation or putting myself in their shoes the way that you're talking about. I love that you brought that up. And email, of course, gives you a little bit more of a long form way to do that. What's coming up for you around that? Were you going to say something?
No, I mean, I agree with that, because even just standing in front of a class when I'm teaching a class, the clients can tend to think that I have no problems in my body. I've never had an
Yes.
injury. I'm perfectly
Right.
fit. I'm all the thing. I am so far from that, but I work at it. And that's the reason why I do what I do. So the reason why I continue to practice Pilates and why I continue to teach it is because I want to keep my body together, but it doesn't mean I don't
Yes.
have issues, and don't have problems with it. So it gives that relatability to the
Yeah.
client. And so using that relatability with people that I don't know who possibly have those issues, those are the people that I'm talking to.
And the best teachers are always the ones who make you feel comfortable and not judged. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. I mean, if people are looking for a solution from you on the internet, that means that, think about that. They don't have anybody else in their life that they trust enough to listen to their advice, or they have, but they want a second opinion. They're still open. People wouldn't be looking for solutions, taking advice. It is easier to turn a client into a friend than a friend into a client. I mean, people
True.
will take advice from a complete stranger if they can feel and I think it's because they feel judged from their friends and family. I think it is very difficult to not let the emotional element of a relationship get in the way of helping somebody. That's why a parent can say something to a kid for years, and then they come home and they're like, "You're never gonna believe what I heard from this homeless guy today. It was profound." And the parent's like, "God, I've been telling you that for 10 years," but it's hard to hear. Do you find that to be true? And are you surprised by that connection that you're able to make online with complete strangers when you implement what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's very true. Because I mean, I think what was the gal's name that was on yesterday? Carolyn? What was her name?
Care.
Care. Yeah, she was awesome. I loved listening to her. I totally related with her story. Because, just being in the wellness field and always trying to find solutions for people and what can I do to make this person feel better? And how can I, what kind of exercise can I offer to them to make this pain go away or whatever? I know she was saying that yesterday, but
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of friends who know what I'm doing here and in this realm. I don't talk to them about it. I don't discuss it, only because I don't want to feel like they don't care. And a lot of them just, they don't, and that's okay. But if I don't talk about it, then I don't have to feel it. So, my husband is like my greatest cheerleader, and he's always the one just keep going. You've got this. And,
What's his name?
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
What's his name?
His name's Joe.
Shout out to Joe. You go, Joe.
You go, Joe.
Joe, go.
So the thing is, it's hard to turn friends into clients. And I've done that with a few for Pilates, but, they're not my customers. And they're not the people I'm going to speak to about, this type of thing, because it's not their thing. And that's okay. I keep it my own, and I work on it privately at home, and it's all good.
Beth made an interesting comment. Everybody has an imaginary sign on their head that says, quote, "Make me feel important. Listen." What comes up for you hearing that?
Oh, I mean, I feel like that's my mantra every day, when I'm in front of all these women. I teach a lot of men, but a lot of women too.
Yeah.
I love that because I teach all ages. I think the youngest I've ever taught is 14. The oldest I've ever taught is 97. And 97-year-old woman would come to my Pilates classes. She was just an incredible woman. But everybody, no matter what their age is, wants to feel that way. And if they don't feel that way, you can tell. If they feel like they're not getting the attention, they know that. So on a level of online level, you don't know who those people are. So you could be reaching those people without even knowing. And that's what's a really cool thing, but it's also a really sort of ominous thing, because you don't know who's listening to you.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. To me, and again, I'm speaking from a man's perspective, so I don't want to put myself in your shoes, but, or I can't. But yeah, I find that interesting and intriguing. There's obviously a level of safety that that is a concern. But yeah, you don't know who you're talking to. And so it's important to keep yourself safe in all the ways. One of the most important ways is to really pay attention to who you're talking to and be aware of people who are reaching out to you. One of the biggest things right now that I just want to side note is that the biggest scam on the internet right now is people posing as influencers, successful marketers, gurus, and reaching out to you, trying to get you to send them money. They get you in this long chat, and you're looking for help, or you're looking for solutions, you're hungry for information, you're hungry for opportunity, whatever it is. And you think you're talking to somebody, but you're not, right? You're talking to some scammer somewhere. So one thing that interesting comment I just saw come through. Courtney, thanks so much for sharing this. Very vulnerable. I want to speak to it just for a moment. She said, "That's what I struggle with most." And that's a strong statement. What I struggle with most. is trying to bring my friends on because I see their potential and want them to be better for themselves, and I'm struggling with that. And I wonder what would happen if you just stopped struggling with that today. If you just realized that the whole point of these strategies was that you can learn to become the hunted instead of the hunter.
Yeah.
And we learn to live and let live. This is a phrase I stole from recovery, right? Because one of the things we want to do when we get sober is go and get all of our friends and family sober, right? Even though we've been drinking for 20 years or whatever. Now all of a sudden we're starting a business or we're getting into personal development or whatever. So everybody should. And that's not reality.
Yeah.
I wonder how many, and this is just making me want to ask this to everybody. I wonder what you're struggling with today that you could just let go and just stop struggling with it, realizing that in this example, there's 8 billion people in this world. And the whole point of you developing these skills is so you can turn a cold audience, strangers, into warm, hot leads, buyers, fans, followers. What comes up for you around that question? You sort of already addressed it, but I wanted to get your take.
Yeah. Well, when I read that comment, I feel like people are going to come when they're ready, and friends are going to show up when they're ready. And it may not show up, in your time of doing this, doing this digital marketing world. But friends are going to show up when they're ready. And if they don't, it's not their time. And it's really, it's not your decision to make for them. And I mean that with a big heart, because, just getting my husband to a Pilates class, he liked it and then he quit, and then he liked it and then he quit. And then, and it was okay. I was like, he's going to come when he's ready. And same with a few friends that come to my classes, like they come and then they don't come and then they come, and I can't get hurt over that because it's not my struggle. It's not my story. So when they do come and they're locked in, it's great. When they decide that they're not locked in anymore, it's still not my story. It's not about me. And so moving on to, who is ready, who is there and waiting at the door, those are the people we don't know about. And if we continue to put the emphasis on the people who kind of want to be there, but don't want to at all, we miss out on all the things that are waiting at the door.
Yeah.
So changing where the energy flows to is, I think, how to reduce the struggle with that, because there's people waiting at the door.
Yeah, there is. And it's sort of like a great example would be you're set to give a presentation, for example. Let's just say you're going to do an event. You're going to do a Zoom. You're going to do a live coaching / event. You're even going to do a live Pilates class. You're going to do a live presentation. You're doing anything where there's a set time for people to show up. And 99% of people or 98% of people or 95% of people or even 50% of people, let's just say that 50% of people are there, ready. It was important to show up on time. And then 50% kind of straggle in. Well, what's the right thing to do in that moment? Is it to stop and start over for all the people who were late? Or is it appropriate to honor those who were there on time and continue, not waste their time, not that set them back anymore? Doesn't mean that you don't. For me, the answer is simple. And I think that what my answer is. It's the latter or the former. I can't remember. But it's to honor the people that are there. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't go back, answer questions later, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But the people who are there waiting, right now, that's just an analogy, right?
Mhm.
It's even more clear when you're running a business who's interested and who's not. And you will have your supporters. Oftentimes, they will be brand new people that your biggest supporters in your business will be people who you never knew, who you never expected, right? And to me, that's the That's the beautiful part about being in business, is that you have an opportunity to find new raving fans, serve a brand new audience of people that you make new friends, make new connections, while keeping your doors open for those who you do know who want it, but you don't have to rely on them for business. Somebody shared that they had PTSD. Another comment. Thank you for all these beautiful comments. Maria said, I don't want to feel 100% agree. I don't want to feel like I'm trying to sell my friends and family. I struggle with putting my face out there because I don't want to share with them or sell to them. I feel like I don't want to go on Facebook anymore because I have Arbonne PTSD from all my friends trying to sell me their fizz. I don't want to be that person. Arbonne's an MLM. Now, again, nothing against the company, but the strategies that most people use in MLM is the getting friends and family. Hey, come on over for a dinner party. Then they lock the door, roll out a whiteboard, and start passing around samples. And it's like, surprise, this is a business meeting or a product pitch. And it just feels kind of slimy, or feels like a shock, like a surprise, like, hey, I didn't know that was coming. I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. And actually, the whole point of this whole thing was I did that too. And I was very young, had no influence, got into MLM and could not make any money because I didn't have any influence. I tried to market to my friends and family. None of them would listen to me. I had just gotten clean a year ago. I was recently homeless. I was driving a Ford truck. I had to start with a screwdriver. They didn't want anything from me. So I had to figure out a way to generate new leads for that business, and I went online. That's where I learned these strategies. And my first information product course and courses that I was an affiliate for were actually online marketing courses for MLMers. And the whole message was, are you tired of chasing friends and family? And that's how I got into affiliate marketing in the first place. So again, another example of how these strategies are, and these skills that you're learning are there to help you to learn how to be the hunted instead of the hunter. Do you have any experience in MLM? Can you relate to that at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
most can. Most
absolutely.
Americans can.
Yeah. I've had and I never wanted to be slimy about it. I was always upfront. This is what I'm doing. Please come and check it out. I was never like, come and have a glass of wine with your friends and let's have a snack and then, roll it out. It wasn't like that. I would never do that because it's not my style at all. Um, but people still get weird about those kinds of events. They're like, I don't want to go be sold.
Yeah,
And, I'm not going to sell to you. The product's going to sell itself. I don't need to sell you. If you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. But that gets old when you put together these events and then people come and then they don't buy. So you've spent all this money to put on this event and then you're like, well, that was worth it, I think. I don't know.
yeah,
It just gets old. And
yeah.
yeah, I still am involved in an MLM, but I'm not trying to grow my business at all. I just still have people that buy from me, and that's
Most
because
of us have ties. Most of us have ties,
yeah, yeah.
right? I mean,
Don't want to let the ties go.
if you're an opportunity seeker, if you're an entrepreneur, you've been pitched an MLM, you've probably said yes once or 10 times, like me, and you still have ties, and
Well, and I
again,
still
there's
really like my
nothing.
product, so I'm gonna,
Sure,
you know,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
people
I
still
like a lot of the products too.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
products are not the problem. See, the product's never the problem. The marketing strategy is. That's why we're not called legendary product. We're called legendary marketer. We're not here to teach you how to invent a product. We're
Yeah.
not here to teach you how to be even a product owner. Of course, you can create your own course, but look, there's tons of products, there's tons of courses that people have created that are still sitting on the shelves collecting dust or digital dust. The 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 secret, I mean, the bottom line to building success, getting rich, whatever you want to say, is marketing, because you have to know how to position your offer. Again, it's the fishing formula. You have to know how who do you want to target with what you have? Where are they at? What can you use to chum the waters, get them swimming around your boat? What can you get them hungry like a shark? How can I put blood in the water to get people beating down my doors, reaching out to me, taking every suggestion that I have? And then how can I build a funnel and a process that with leverage systematically brings people into my business without me having to do tons of heavy lifting, manual labor, be tied to my business 24/7? That's what this process is about. So I really encourage those of you who are kind of, just what I see a lot of people do and sense a lot of people do is they come into our community, then they just start watching people on Instagram or on social media. And it's important to go through the material, go through the education, like really understand the concepts here. If you don't do that and you don't invest that time, you're still going to be chasing friends and family or think that's what this is about. I really, really encourage all of you. We've got a brand new 5-day challenge. 15 days was too long, for God's sakes. We've gone back and shortened that bad boy to 5 days. It's called the Learn, Launch, Lead Challenge. You can find it at learnlaunchlead.challenge.com. You can also, just for a shorter, easier link, to go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll. You can find the button for that. You can learn those strategies, learn those concepts. If you're really serious about getting accountability and learning an expanded, more comprehensive version of that curriculum, enroll in the blueprints. There's an opportunity in the 5-day challenge to get all 4 blueprints for the price of one. If you've missed out on that before, we're reintroducing and reoffering that in this new product. It's a new customer fast start opportunity. And my God, invest in yourself so you can get out of some of these struggles, my dear friends, because that's really what this is about. We want to inspire you, but we also want to educate you. That's our main focus. It's not entertainment, although we like to be entertaining as we're educating. The number one thing we're here for is educating. And I'm sure you can relate to that, right? It's like, look, I want you to have fun in my classes, but I also want you to do it right. Like, I want you to do the exercises right. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to not get results, right? And in order for you to not get results, you've got to learn the exercises. You got to be committed. You got to come consistently. And you have to dedicate yourself to not perfecting, but mastering, which means that you got to do it enough times. Some say 10,000 hours. Well, I don't know that it takes that long to master, but you got to put in some time.
Mhm.
Um, do you agree with that? And how do you get through the times when you do feel frustrated or like things are not moving along fast enough?
That is so me. People think that I'm pretty chill, pretty mellow person, but inside I'm like, things are like turning all the time. My brain's always going. And when I did the 15-day challenge, I was all in, but I was like speeding through it. I'm like, yep, got through that one. Let's move on to the next one. Let's go to the next one. I bought the blueprints and I dove in, and I tended to be one that, like, oh, I've done this before. I already did this in the training I did before. So I'm just going to pass through that one and go to the next one. And, and I found that sometimes I'd struggle with things and I'd be like, why am I struggling with this? Well, it's because I didn't stop and go through it step by step as it's meant to be done. And so I'd go back through, and finally, when I got everything finally all set up and I launched, which, I see a lot of people talking about launching and they're like so nervous to hit the button, and you're like, oh, like what's going to happen? Like the whole world's going to change. But to me, it was like, okay, I launched. Okay, now what? Like now what do I do? I sit here and I, twiddle my thumbs and wait. But I found that I was going too fast. And if I looked back at how I've learned how to be the instructor that I am. It's taken so much time and so much research and so much practice. And I'm always researching and learning new techniques and how things are going to work in somebody's body. It's the same thing here. You have to take your time and really do it step by step, and do the steps that you're telling us to do, right? That all your great instructors are telling us to do. Because I went back and did the 5-day challenge, and I'm on day 5 right now, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm so glad that I did, because there's so much more meat in there on the bone, so to speak. There's more to chew on and more to go, oh, I missed that on the last time around, you know? And I'm excited in even into the fact that I want to talk to an advisor again so
Mm.
that I can sort of work through some of the struggles that I have. I mean, it's available to me, so I'm going to take it. And I think that that's really the key is there's so much available here
Yeah.
that you got to take what's available and don't skip and don't skimp and don't cheat yourself, because if you really want to perfect what you want to do, then you got to take the right steps and just keep at it.
Yeah.
It's a 15-day challenge, or the blueprints are available there for you forever, but there's a lot going on in there. And so I think that it's really just taking what you know, if you're paying that, you know, that amount of money to buy a course, then freaking use it, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what it's there for. It's not to speed through and put it away and never look at it again. Go back to it and look at it again. I
Yeah.
think it's really, really good to always go back and keep practicing. It's just sort of the same thing I do in my Pilates practices. I'm always practicing. I'm always learning and trying to find new ways to express something to somebody or teach it a different way, make it more interesting, uh,
Mm.
make it more fun so that I don't get bored.
Yeah. Of course. Right. I
Yeah.
mean, so well put, so well said. And I agree with every word you said. It's such a game changer when you learn to be resourceful with the resources that you actually have already, which means that you have to use them. You would not believe over 13 years of selling courses and education, the amount of people who buy and then don't even go through something. So the first step is be resourceful with the resources that you have. Oftentimes, we are so in a rush to look outside of ourselves, outside of what we have, because particularly here in America, we are addicted to the grass is greener on the other side. We are addicted to the next shiny object. And those who simplify, clear out the noise, and are resourceful, really squeeze out every drop from what you have. And yes, if you've come into our uh, community and our platform, there is untapped resources that you have not used. I can guarantee that every single one of you. How do
Yeah.
I know? Well, here's some relation for you, right? We were talking about this before. How do you make your audience not feel judged? Well, how do I know that you've not tapped into all your resources? Well, first of all, because you're saying it, right? So I've got somebody else here that's saying, hey, I didn't tap into them, but also because I know me. I don't use the resources that, and again, I feel like it's a little bit to do with the society that we live in. There's so much abundance here that we literally, our tolerance, it's like drugs. The more you have and use, it's like the more you need.
Yeah.
And that is how our lives are and how we interact with our lives. And so when it comes to learning a new skill, we will get a lot of big dopamine rush from buying something. And then once that wears off, the follow through isn't there because, well, I need another big dopamine rush from starting something new again and buying something new and moving on to something shiny. And the cycle is never ending. And so that's why I say if you're in our community or you're learning this somewhere else, I really don't care. I just hope that everybody learns these skills. Tune out the noise, unsubscribe from all the lists that you're on, unfollow people if you need to, if they're a distraction. I've seen people say I've unfollowed my heroes online because I was just getting too distracted, comparing myself. I was always feeling like I needed to start over or change my direction, etc. Man, lean in and use the resources that you have. Be resourceful with what you have, what you've bought. Like you said, yeah, there's a new 5-day challenge, $5. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, we also offered, you can go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll. I believe we put back up for sale the recent workshop that we did. the Faceless Following workshop. I mean, go and grab that. I don't, there's just, again, so much juice to be squeezed. And I find that most of the time we're not squeezing that juice. And when we do, so much, less is more most of the time. I'm sure I'm sure you somehow have that weaved into your philosophy or maybe your recipes. Like, less is more. Like, clear the space out, clear your desk off, clear your email list out in terms of who you're listening to, and just dive in and follow through. And you'll be amazed, again, what you might relearn or what you didn't see the first time. As we bring this in for a landing, Dana, what have you learned about yourself through this particular adventure?
Well, I guess like what you're just saying, like it's really easy to get overwhelmed with information because there's so much out there. And there's, you could say, I want to, do my social media sort of like that person. And then you go, oh, wait, but I like that person and I like what they're doing. And you could easily start to just confuse yourself and forget who you are, because you're thinking that you want to be like this person. But just staying in your own lane, and, you're here for a reason and you're doing this for a reason. And, I remember feeling that way as a new instructor. Like, I wanted to be an instructor like her and I wanted to teach like that. And it didn't work because I'm not that person. So I had to really find my own way and have my own style. And it's worked out well for me because I'm very busy, and to the point where I don't have any more hours in the day to teach because I can't do it, or I can't talk at the end of the day. There's so many words, that don't want to come out. So this is such a great, it's like they just start not making sense. But this is a great way to not have to talk. I can just be in my own space and I can create, and I can, do my own research or go back in and do more of the challenge, or, try something new. Like, I think my next thing is to build a course, and I'm going to do that based on the workshop I did 2 years ago. That's my next goal. But I think just creating goals and having something to work towards, and not always like spinning your wheels and going, none of it's working. And if none of it's working, then you got to hone it in and say, okay, what do I want to work right now? So if I want this one thing, then that's the one thing I'm going to work on. Try not to work on 10 things at once. Just stick with one, stay in that lane, work on that until you're happy with it. If you need to put it aside for a week and work on something else, try not to work on too many things at one time. That's what I find, is I can get myself spread out. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I've got too many things going on and my head's spinning. And so I have to just bring it in and go, okay, this is what I'm working on right now. Yeah. And I put it aside, go teach some class, go spend some time with my family. I've got kids that live in other states, and I go visit them. And so I have to just make sure that I'm keeping my focus, because it's easy to lose focus when there's so much information out there.
Sure.
Yeah, just stick with what's working. If it's not working, put it away, move on to something else. And don't beat yourself up. Just move on.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Amber says, wow, thank you for saying it that way. Looking and clarifying what you want to work right now and not focus on multiple things at once. Focus for sure. Focus is important. Yeah. Amen. I have too much going on also. Dana, I struggle with that. ADHD business messes, 9 income streams, LOL. Mm-hmm. Alan says, what an epic episode. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Catherine says, Dana, your story is very relatable to mine. I really enjoyed hearing it. Dana, I completely agree. I love that, says Susie. Find my own way and find my own style. Be me. Love that. Amber says, stay in your own lane. I do find myself looking at others and doubting myself. Just so much, Lee says, thank you for an amazing episode. John says, this has all been so helpful. Just a wonderful, wonderful feedback. And Thank you for your time today. It's been wonderful. It's been enlightening. And it's been as Alan said, an epic episode. And so keep up the great work. Stay legendary, my friend. Okay. And I look forward to following up with you here on the next few months and keeping our community posted on your journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, Dana, we'll talk to you later. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, my friends, huge hat throw for Dan. Just busted the back of my hat on that one. Got to put it back together here. Got to remember how many buttons I had. It was well worth it, though. A lot of energy and excitement out there coming out of me anyways this morning for Dana and everything that she had to share and say with us. Thank you all for the amazing feedback and comments. As always, it makes this so wonderful and so worth it to do for you. We love it. I love to see the positive feedback and affirmations for our guest. Of course, Dana certainly deserves it this morning with so much wisdom, both from her journey here, but also her entrepreneur journey in as a whole. Trisha says, as always, Wake Up Legendary is an education in itself. Oh, thank you so much. Love this. Thank you. Great advice. Inspired. Amazing episode, says Bonnie. As always, thank you, Dana. Fantastic. Totally relatable. Thank you. Awesome vibe here today. Awesome vibe every day. Thanks for noticing. Great advice. I agree. Amazing. Wake Up Legendary. Thank you. Hit home. Dana, I could listen to your voice all day. Watch out now, Gilberto. Joe's listening to that voice all day. Okay. Joe gets that pleasure. All right. Totally me. Too many things rattling around in the brain. Focus. Dana has such great energy. Thank you for sharing all of that with us today. This is a great way to kick off Thursday. I agree. Okay, my friends, hey, have a great day. Have a blessed day. Have an amazing day. Be legendary. Get out of here. Be productive today. Do something that moves your life and business forward. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, as always, 10 a.m. Eastern time, same place for another episode. Get out of here.